Hello and welcome to our Fit Mind webinar this week. Today I'm joined by Stuart Walter. Now Stuart is a professional clinical hypnotherapist and NLP practitioner specialising in elite performance. Regarded as Australia's #1 for sports hypnotherapy, his clients include Olympians, professional sports people, national, Commonwealth and world champions. He works with individuals, corporate and sporting teams, as well as give presentations, seminars and workshops on hypnotherapy and NLP techniques. Hi Stuart, how are you?
Hello Murray, how you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. Always awesome. Always awesome to speak with you, Stuart.
I think our computer's self-sabotaging itself right now. It's doing all sorts of weird things. But anyway, let's put through it.
That's right. We'll let the computer sabotage ourselves. But today we are going to talk about self-sabotage and how we can break through. So, Stuart, I guess the question on everybody's lips is, what is self-sabotage?
Right. What I'll do is start with, I guess, a typical belief of what self-sabotage is. I think it's more of what other people believe is holding themselves back, dealing with things, wanting to do stuff, not getting the results. I think self-sabotage is one of those labels that people kind of throw on the fact that I want to do something, but I'm not doing it. You look at self-sabotage, is it really self-sabotage? And why would we do it? If there's something that's really good for us and beneficial, why would we be holding ourselves back? It just doesn't make any sense. It's just not logical. And our brain isn't logical. We've got two parts. You've got the conscious, you've got the unconscious part, or the subconscious, whichever way you want to talk. And it's that inner battle and that conflict that creates the issue when it comes to moving forward in life, because our brain is typically always going to be holding us back. And we, in general, would actually describe it as self-sabotage. We want to do things. It might be procrastination in some people's language. But self-sabotage is just that you know you want to do something, but you're not doing it. There's got to be some reason why you want to, but there's also a reason why you hold yourself back. You have every intention of going, right, this is where I want to go. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, something shiny, and you go that direction. And that's all self-sabotage seems to be, is people's belief that it's kind of normal. But when you think about how it works and why we do it, I think the only reason why we self-sabotage is our brain has got one job, okay, and that's protection. It's protecting you from any potential hurt, potential harm, physically and emotionally. So you've got to ask yourself the question, am I really self-sabotaging, or am I just not doing something because of some other benefit?
So how do we self-sabotage ourselves?
Well, let's have a look at it and just go, right, okay, if we are in charge of our actions, our emotions, our behaviors, our beliefs, our habits, if we choose that, therefore we're actually in control. So we are choosing to hold ourselves back. So when you think about self-sabotage, is it self-sabotage if we are doing what is good for us? See, we're too busy, or a lot of people are too busy thinking, I need to do this, I have to do this. But the unconscious mind, which might be 95% of how we think, act and behave, it's going, I could do that, but the benefits of doing that may not be what I want. They're not going to help me as far as protection, physically or emotionally. Now, I find a lot with overweight people, or people carrying a bit of extra weight, or even other habits and any other addictive habits. They tend to be what we call masking. They're holding themselves back. They're using food or drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, or even keeping busy these days as a form of masking agent. They're actually holding themselves back and kind of self-medicating through food. Self-sabotage, when you think about that, is right. We all want to be fit. We want to be slim. We want to be healthy. We want to be happy. So why would we not be that? And it's our unconscious mind that just simply goes, you know, I could be fit, healthy and happy, but the outcome of that might somehow be a negative. Therefore, the brain, which is 95% of how we think, act, behave, now starts putting these little thoughts and processes and fears in that conscious mind to actually hold you back, to stop you. Okay, so it's not actually self-sabotage. It's basically you're choosing not to do this for some other reason. It might be safety, it might be protection. See, there's a lot of people that have been through some unwanted attention in their past. So what happens in that respect is if they start losing weight, they start getting attention again. The unconscious mind doesn't want that for some reason, so it starts stopping you. The motivation disappears. The self-sabotaging actions will now start cutting in. It might be procrastination, it might be fears, it might be doubts, it might just be, oh, I don't have the motivation to go and exercise. But it's not that. It's driven by the thoughts of your unconscious mind going, I don't want you to be thin. I want you to be happy, yeah, but I want to protect myself from any potential, because when you start losing weight, you start getting that attention again, which puts your mind in a vulnerable state. It doesn't want to be exposed. It doesn't want to be put into that same situation that might have been hurt once before. So it's actually choosing to hold you back. So it's not actually self-sabotage. It's basically, it's a protection mechanism within your brain.
And I know we also do this when it comes to work as well. I know we're mainly focusing today on weight loss, but like I see it in myself when I know I've got to make phone calls and I've got to contact companies and I've got my plan of all the companies I'm going to contact. I've got the list, I've got the numbers, and then suddenly I feel I need to go over here and make a beautiful diagram or a Facebook post or something like that. You know, that's something that seems very common when it comes to anything, when it comes to business with achieving success. We know what we need to do. It's not really that hard, but why do we keep doing that when it's so, it's just a matter of just doing it?
Yeah, life would be so much easier if it wasn't for emotions. And that's basically it. I'd be unemployed if it wasn't for emotions. I guess so would personal trainers, because we just go, yeah, I want to be fit, go and do it. Simple, isn't it? It's as you're saying, it's the same in business. And I'm very aware of that myself. There's so many things that I could be doing. I'm also aware of how my brain works by obviously working with all the peak performers I work with, is to understand how the brain works, to go, right, when I'm got a bit of motivation, bang, I'm going for it and going hard. If my brain says slow down, I'll actually stop. So it's being able to understand the rhythms and the thought processes to do that. Now, I think at times I'm one of the biggest procrastinators out there. But people who look at me just going, how do you get this energy? How do you keep pushing yourself? Well, that's what you see on the surface. It's underneath. That's where the emotional games are actually played. So you're right. It all comes down to emotions. If you couldn't get embarrassed, or you didn't have fear of rejection, or you didn't have to think about what's going to happen Christmas time, put on your bikinis and go out swimming and everyone starts looking at you. Not that I'd wear bikinis, but that's probably why people are looking at me. So let's look at the reason why our brain does that. And it's all emotional. It's all protection. Okay? So you remove the emotions out of everything, you wouldn't have any limitations. You wouldn't have fears. You wouldn't have doubts. You wouldn't hold yourself back. So it's a matter of managing emotions to create the ultimate version of you. But it's also putting you at risk by getting out there, by getting exposed. Okay, and even more so with females in business, or even females in, if you're looking at the weight loss side of things, because the thinner you are, you've got a lot of nerves and nerve endings. Okay, and the thinner people are, especially females, you become a lot more agitated on the surface. Okay, so a lot of people go into this physical protection, i.e. the body, because then their nerves aren't out there and exposed, and you don't feel as vulnerable. You have this safety and this protection mechanism. And you look at nature. Nature isn't designed for fit, healthy-looking animals. It's survival of the fattest in nature. Okay, it's eating and eating and eating and eating and storing food, so you've got the strength to get you through. But we've only just, in the whole DNA side of things within our life, if you look at this whole screen, as in evolution of man, you've only got a fraction of a millimeter on the end of this screen, where this is the ability we've got to go shopping, earn money, and just food is abundant. So we're unwinding and having to evolve based on millions of years of evolution. So it's not normal, it's not natural to be and to be pushing the limits as we do in business or in life.
Mm. Now, the question I wanted to ask you next was in regards to the sabotaging of your goals by somebody else. Now, I remember when I was working as a personal trainer in a fitness business, I had this awesome client who she was super motivated and she was really wanting to achieve her goals. She was working hard. She noticed was her husband started bringing her home treats. So started bringing her home lollies and chocolate and things like that, such as why do other people and how do we work around that so that they don't derail the plans that we have?
Yeah, that's the fun thing. I mean, we've got this ability to self-sabotage ourselves, and you would think that's enough of a game for us to play. Then you start getting involved in other people's worlds as well, because as you start changing, the world around you starts changing, your circle of influence starts changing. So as you as a person start shifting, it's going to shift your partner, your family, your friends, and it's going to expand and create this massive ripple effect. What a lot of people aren't aware of is when you make that decision, whether it's even in business, you go, right, this is what I'm going to do. You would think at that point in time you're going to get incredible support from friends and family. It sometimes goes the opposite direction and you go, whoa, who are these people? Within Australia, we call it the tall poppy syndrome. So we go, right, okay, well, what we want, we don't like successful people, but that's so wrong. We love people being successful in sport, in art, in music, in business, in research. We love successful people, but we just don't like people we know being successful, because it affects us as we reflect on ourselves to go, oh, they've achieved all this, they've committed and they've gone for it, whereas we're kind of still down here. So it's not that we don't like these people, we just don't like ourselves and the gap between us now. So what a lot of people start doing is going, right, let's just come and get you and pull you back down to our level, therefore making ourselves feel better. So don't be surprised as when you start losing weight, it's the people around you will start going, oh, that's really good for them, but it also reflects badly on me. So I'm going to give you a little bit of cake. It's just a little bit of cake. It's okay. It's just one bit of cake. You'll be right. Oh, but there's also those other comments, which is don't get too skinny. You don't want to lose much more weight. It's not about you. It's more about them to going, I don't want you to lose too much weight because you're going to look better than me. Therefore, I'm going to have to take action myself. But I don't want to take action. I'm too lazy. So therefore, I'll bring you back to my level. So just when you think self-sabotage is a massive game and massive conflict just for you, you've got this whole circle of your influence around you that's actually going to be starting to play emotional games with you as well. So it is a very, very strong person who can actually make that decision and lose weight. And that's one of these issues I find with a lot of these big weight loss programs. It's all about nutrition and it's all about exercise. But the one thing that they fail to deal with is the mental aspect of it. It is just incredible. It's incredible that these people who are trained professionals that are looking after you and helping you, they're not able to assist you as far as mentally getting yourself in the right place to be able to lose weight. It's just, it needs to change.
See that too, even in regards to her friends at school, or supposed friends, I guess, because when she's achieving and doing well at school or at sport or whatever, it's interesting how girls can be really nasty to each other. And I guess that's self-sabotage. I mean, not self-sabotage, sabotage by others.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like you said, it's like that Mexican crab thing, you know, where all the crab, like the crab climbs out of the bucket and all the Mexican crabs try to pull the one crab back in. You know, it's easier for them to pull you down than to lift yourself up. So how do you protect yourself from that? Because, you know, we all inherently want to, we all inherently want to be liked. You know, we want to to have people, you know, cheer us on and help us. But when we've got that network, especially when they're husbands or partners or friends, how do we manage when people are trying to sabotage us when we care about those people? Because, I mean, if it's just a friend, you can say, oh, look, they're a bit toxic, you know, I can push them out of my circle of influence. But when it's a partner or a spouse, and you don't want to push them out, you know, how do you work around that?
And that's the hardest thing, is the fact that it literally is this battle that you've got to take on yourself. The decision to lose weight is really not that hard. Okay, it's the ongoing process of doing that, because as you change, everything around you has to change. Now, it's easy enough to change friends, is because you can grow out of a little circle of influence into another one, and into another one, into another one. And there's some fascinating things that I've experienced, not just personally, but through my clients, is different levels, because we all want to be, as people, part of a community. It's amazing how many people fail to grow out of their little community here, because they're going to go, oh, the last person that left this community, everyone was saying something bad about them, so we don't want to leave, because what are they going to say about us? But the thing is, you're growing into a different community. So think about the person you want to become. And unfortunately, you've got to get very selfish at this. Okay, and unfortunately, not many people are able to do this. This is where the strength comes from. It's not from lifting weights. It's not from eating the right food. It's knowing that lifting weights and eating the right food is going to get you thin, but then it's all a mental game. It's a mental game, because as you start growing away from one little community that have always been there to support you, you're growing into another community which is going to kind of inspire and be driven by you. It's circle of influence. So if you look at, this is where I was and this is where I'm going, you're going to start becoming this person now, because you're going to start to attract these people, which is going to be a new circle of influence. Around friends and family, it's harder. You've just got to make that decision and go, I'm only doing this for me. If everyone else is getting upset, well, that's their choice. And that's the hardest thing to grasp, is to simply go, I'm here for me only. And if you can change you, you'll probably find this circle of influence around you, 8 to 10 people, they're going to start shifting as a result of you shifting and maintaining your belief and your confidence and your drive. There's also this incredible tipping point, and I'm sure within your new business, Murray's Social Media Marketing Institute, I'm sure you've noticed this, is there's a certain level that I notice, and it's generally around an 80% mark. If you're 80% of the way towards your potential, you're going to find people are going to start lifting and motivating and empowering you. Anything under that, people are still wanting to pull you back down to their level. So there is a certain tipping point that once you get over it, once you find people around you that are supporting and encouraging you, that's pretty much where your 80% mark is, to actually now start growing into this person. That's the hardest part, is getting up to 80%. Because if you look at 7.5 billion people in the world, 80% of them want to bring you back down.
Yeah. And that, you know, that is a hard thing when you've got so many people who, you know, and they might not intentionally want to see you fail. Like, they're not there out there going, we want you to fail, because, like you said, this is happening on the subconscious level, you know, for a little bit. So that's not where they're actually out there to try them. But like you said, it's a reflection. So anyway, okay, now we've talked about how we can work around the sabotage of others. How do we stop self-sabotage for us, like for ourselves, you know, because like I said, you know, it's hard to push through, especially if you don't have that network around you supporting you, because if you've got people cheerleading you on the side, it's easier to push through those levels. But when you are essentially doing it by yourself, how do you overcome it?
There's a few ways. One is dump all your friends. Or two, invite them on this journey with you. Okay? It's also good to actually make a statement and go, you know, this is where I'm going to be in 12 months' time. And then tell everyone. If they don't believe you, just go your own journey. If they go, that is awesome, Well, come with me on this journey. Okay, there's going to be a lot of battles. There's going to be a lot of inner conflict. We can do it, but like I said, you've got to be very selfish. You've got to almost turn internal and do this for you, because it's not about your partner. It's not about your kids. It's not about people at work. It's not about losing weight just to prove I can to someone else. You've got to do this for you. And as soon as you make that decision, you're going to realize that everyone back here is probably going to be against you. You think they're going to support you. It's a matter of just going, right, this is me, this is where I'm going. And you've got to keep that vision. You've got to keep that so strong in your mind and just go, that's where I'm going. Because we've all done it. If you're on a high one day and you've got someone who's on a bit of a low, you start having a conversation and all this is going to happen, and all of a sudden you're at the same level and it's like, this person goes away feeling good. This person feels flat until this happens. And this person's going to come back in again next time and drain you again. So what happens is you can only lift people generally halfway through your actions. By changing who you are and being so driven and guided by that future version of you, you're going to step up here and stay up here, which means anyone who comes in, guess what? You're going to start inspiring them more than what you could have done through coming back down and dealing with their stuff. So what we've got to do is be able to, you live your life. You choose to live your life for you. How does that look? It's irrelevant, because you'll find that through your actions, you're going to change who you are, your thinking, your attitude, your behaviors, your beliefs. You're going to start focusing purely on you. So therefore, other people around you are going to look at you and go, wow, okay. And you are going to inspire them. You can't motivate anyone. All you can do is inspire someone to do what you are doing. So if the world just suddenly steps up to become the ultimate version of themselves, it's going to inspire the rest of the world. And that's one of my, I guess, my missions is to, if you were the best you that you could be in your life, that's all. You go out there into the world. Now, if you inspire 10 people to take control of what they are doing like you are, within 10 steps, we've got 7.5 billion people in the world covered. And unfortunately, there's too many incredible people that are being held back or choosing to remain average so that they don't stand out. But what if everyone stood up? The world would be a totally different place. And that is how I focus, is basically you've got to be very, very self-conscious. Everything you've got to do is about you, your health, your happiness, your love, your wealth. Be the ultimate version of you, and everyone is going to start stepping up and admiring you for being that person, and they will then make that same choice and those same changes.
I think from, obviously where is Stuart, understanding where you want to go, because I know that's a really thing, because if you don't know where you're headed, and it's interesting when I talk to a lot of people, how many people, yes, we struggle to get to the end of the week and know what we're doing at the end of the week, but asking people to write down and articulate exactly where they're going to be in even a month's time or in 6 months' time, but 12 months, that seems like a really hard thing for people to grasp. So I know you have an awesome process, the target process, that helps people to be able to do that. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, the target process is quite a simple process. Just purely through definition of a target, you know exactly what I mean, which is, what are you aiming at? Because if there was no target, where would you shoot? There'd be no motivation. See, motivation's only possible when you have direction. So if you don't have a direction, why would you get up? Why would you get out of bed? Why would you want to lose weight? Why would you want to go into business by yourself? So the target is basically the end result of what you want to achieve, that desired point. Motivation is only possible when you have direction. So until you have a direction, you're not going to be motivated. See, if I get someone who's overweight now and I motivate them, what are they going to do? They're going to eat faster. That's what's going to happen, because they don't know why they want to lose weight. You've got to get to that end point before things will start happening. If you think you're only half motivated, it's because your end result is either too small, too far out, or not clear enough. And what it all does, it brings you back to, right, what is the ultimate for me? If you knew you couldn't fail in 12 months, where would you be? Who would you be? Why would you choose to be that person? And you've got to have all those components in place. And then you've got to be persistent. Yes, you're going to hurt. Every time you stand up, you're going to groan. You're going to hurt. You're going to sweat. You're going to have to push the limits. And that's just to grow you out of self-sabotaging. Then you've got to be strong enough and independent enough to avoid and to cut people from your lives that are potentially holding you back. So you've got another game in there. And all this is happening at that deep unconscious level of your brain. So for those people that are just going, oh, I just want to make a change and go for it, good luck. It's only the top 2 or 3% of people that are able to do that. And that's why any of these weight loss programs, the people that they highlight as successful, there's not many people that actually get to that level.
Awesome. Well, we've talked about a lot of great things today. And for those who are wanting to push through the barriers and want to be able to take those steps forward to get out of the pattern of self-sabotage, we obviously have our Fit Mind program. So tell us a little bit about the Fit Mind program, Stuart.
Yeah, Fit Mind program, Murray, is based on a core program. The core program of being a fit mind for life. It's all about, as I just said before, it's about coming back to essentially you, your health, your happiness, your love, your wealth. Well, like my Elite Mindset Institute, your future, your way. Now, when you decide what that is, everything becomes clearer. So the Fit Mind program is giving you the direction in life. It's teaching you how to actually do it. It's not just the knowledge, because you've got all the knowledge right now within you to live this incredible life. So why haven't you done it? The reason why you haven't done it is because of, 1, emotions, and 2, that's that self-sabotage, either by yourself or by others. So the Fit Mind program is all about creating the ultimate life your way, giving you an understanding of who you are as a person, how your life used to be. It teaches you basic fundamentals of the human mind, but it's also then getting involved in this deeper unconscious processing where you protect yourself from the emotions, give you direction in life, teaches you about that circle of influence and the highs and the lows. And then we look at the specifics for weight loss or business or students or network marketing. All these programs in the Fit Mind program, so they got the central core program, which is Fit Mind for Life, you as a person. The Fit Mind for Weight Loss covers things like, when is enough enough? When do you stop eating? It covers the visualization of losing weight to live in this ideal life, because most people focus on what they're losing, not what they're gaining. And all this is covered, and the emotional protection, the safety, the benefits is all covered in that Fit Mind for Weight Loss program. So it is really a fully all-inclusive program, and the results that we've got out of the program, just amazing.
So if anyone is interested, Fit Mind, or the Fit Mind program can be found www.fitmindonline.com. Stuart, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all that great information about self-sabotage.
You are welcome.
Have a great day.
You held up after all that.
All right.
You're welcome. Take care.